All right, guys. So just finished my procedure, second hair transplant here in Istanbul, Turkey. Uh, Really long, tiring day. It was about procedure was I want to say a little over 10 hours. Just want to eat my food and relax, but I wanted to record this while everything is fresh on my mind. I like to keep these videos short so everybody can watch, but I do have a lot of information to convey on this one. So we'll do it as keep it as short as possible. So first, I want to start with traveling during COVID. Pain in the ass. But even, you know what, let's start before we get there. I will never use a traveling agency again. I use Expedia and stuff like that all the time. But I guess those are a little different. I ended up, because the tickets were so expensive, I ended up getting my ticket through a website called Viama. I think it's Viama.com. I will never use them again. Of course, with a bunch of these changes and updates going on with the EU blocking American citizens and whatnot, I was trying to get in touch with them and they were impossible to get in touch with. I sent an email probably 5 days ago that I've yet to hear back from. I called them and it just went directly to a voicemail that said, hey, we're getting a lot of calls and we're short staffed because of COVID. So try calling some other time, and just hangs up on you. So yeah, never use them. So in general, traveling during this pandemic was more of a pain in the ass than normal. Hotels, not hotels, what am I talking about? Airports are still pretty empty. Not empty, but the volume is definitely down, but everything is closed. Hard to get anything to eat, hard to get a drink, everything is closed. And the necessary things that are open, like your airline desk, everybody's running on a skeleton crew. So everything takes longer. Everybody, all the employees are having to do more, so they're in a bad mood. It's a pain. Everybody was required to wear masks on the flight and in the airplane, which I am completely fine with. I think that's a good move. But I initially, when I was buying my ticket, I saw that all these places were saying they were doing social distancing on the planes, closing the middle seat. I can't speak for any other airline, but I flew United and Lufthansa, and neither one of them did any social distancing. Both of the planes were packed to the brim, elbow to elbow. We were full, plane was full. So they absolutely are not doing any social distancing, at least on those two airlines. I can't speak to any other airlines. So as far as travel, that was, okay, well, what else has changed? So of course, I don't know if you guys have followed, Americans are barred from entering the EU. I had a layover in Frankfurt. I called in advance to make sure that was not going to be a problem. It was not a problem, but stipulation is you cannot leave the airport. If you have an overnight layover or anything like that, I actually did end up finding out there's a hotel specifically for that, for international travelers, at least in the Frankfurt airport. I don't know about any other ones, called My Cloud, and you can go there and rent a room. They actually rent them by the hour, I guess, if you just want to relax between the international flight. Price is pretty high for what it is, because taking advantage of the situation, providing the convenience, whatever, the price is a little higher. What else did I have to say on travel that has changed? Germany and Turkey did have I guess you could call it sort of a contact tracing. Nothing as invasive as Jamaica and Barbados and some of the Caribbean places have done, where there's no app to go on your phone or anything like that. But there is a sheet that you fill out, and you put your address, phone number, what flight you were on, where you were sitting on the flight. The idea being, I think, if somebody ends up coming up positive for COVID on that flight, they'll be able to contact people who sat around them and whatnot, which, isn't a bad idea, not terribly invasive. So I think that's a good move. I think that is about all I had on travel. Customs was really quick getting through customs because, there's not a lot of people traveling internationally. Oh, one big thing. If you are planning on flying internationally in these upcoming months, or who knows how long this will be going on for, as long as Americans are barred from EU, check on your layovers. Make sure you will be able to still catch your connecting flight. There's a gentleman that was supposed to be at the hair clinic today, coming from Florida, and he was turned around in Amsterdam, sent back home from Amsterdam, money down the drain. So definitely, investigate and call and see, make sure that you can, that all your flights are still on, because it's a dynamic situation. Things are changing day by day. So just stay on top of that. So to the hair transplant. So I actually ended up getting 4,500 grafts today, pulled from a combination of the beard, as you can see, and from the back of my head. I know if you guys watched my previous videos, I was a little concerned about having grafts pulled from the back of my head, area already being kind of thin back there. Ultimately, I chose to go with their advice because look, as I've said before, I was completely bald. I was a Norwood 7. There are now 11,500 grafts that have been transplanted to my head. I don't think that whether you split it up in 3, 4, 5 times, we could debate, but I don't think there's a way that I cover that area with 11,500 grafts without negatively impacting my donor area. I just don't think that's possible. Yeah, well, this is a long road. We'll see a year from now. Will I have to just, worst case scenario, just have a skin fade back there? I don't know. We'll see. But that's what we did. I'll show as good as I can here, the top at least. So the focus was in the crown area because the crown was untouched in that first procedure. And then they also added density to the top. So from what he told me, 2,500 grafts were purely in the crown, and the other 2,000 they spread around to add density. And I have to say, at least thinking 11,500 grafts, once all this grows in, I feel pretty confident saying that, the top of my head should be pretty full and pretty dense. But time will tell. So I won't go through everything or repeat everything that I said in my first. If you guys who are just kind of coming along, you can refer back to my initial coming to Istanbul video. I'll just kind of comment on the changes. So this time they have me, I'm in a hotel called Markle, Grand Markle, I think is the name of it. Grand Markle. It's okay. The Gonan was nicer, but on the upside, the location here is better. I'm walking distance from a strip that is actually walking distance to the actual clinic, but also walking distance to a strip of stores. Strip of restaurants rather. There's Starbucks over there, so that give and take. It's nice enough, not as nice as the Gonan, but location's better. So what else? So pain. Everybody who's watched any of these videos knows the lidocaine injections are the most painful part. They're extremely painful. What I will say is they have a new thing that they didn't use when I was here back in December. It's a sort of gun, like a lidocaine gun, that they used on the donor area in the back of my head. Now, they didn't use it on my neck on the front when they numbed it up, but they used that gun thing first before doing the actual injections. And it reduced the pain greatly. I would say it took it from like an 8 to a 4. Unfortunately, on the beard and on the front of the head, it was still just the just the injections, which I mean, there's no way around it. They hurt terribly. It's a instant pain. I mean, it's over the minute they're finished injecting it in there, but I mean, it burns like fire. So that didn't change. What else? What else? As you can see now, my head is pretty doggone swollen. This time my temples were already done, so I didn't have to do that. So I do have this headband here to decrease the swelling, or at least to keep the swelling up in my head and not from coming down into my face, which is why they also tell you not to look down after having the procedure done. It's pretty difficult to do. Trying to think if there's anything else I had to relay. I think that's about it, guys. You know, as always, any questions, comments, whatever, leave down there, and I'll get back to you guys. All right.